What's happening, party people? Happy Winning Wednesday. This is your daily morning motivational message because motivation's a lot like taking a bath or personal hygiene. We want to stay sharp. We want to keep our minds just as clean and polished as we keep our bodies and our exterior. What you think about, you bring about. What you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. The inner root bears the outer fruit. So we want to make sure we're taking really good care of what's happening internally, what we're putting in our minds, our thoughts, our thought patterns, and breaking those patterns, interrupting those negative patterns, low self-talk, low self-esteem, low self-worth, so that we can really continue to elevate. So we've been riding this theme of identity. It's such a powerful thing. There's a book called Psycho Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And it talks about what happens when people get plastic surgery and how for some people because they change the exterior, they start to live up to it. For others, it's still a challenge because they haven't done enough work internally, so they don't know how to leverage that exterior change. And so what I want you to understand about identity is that it can happen in an instant. Like change can happen in an instant. And it could be a challenging instant, or it can be a completely empowering instant, but either way it can be transformational. So if it's a challenging instant, for example, you're in a car accident, and as a result of that car accident, excuse me, you have a permanent limp. Like you leave and you're physically changed forever. That happens in an instant. And so your identity changes quickly. And now you're moving through the world with a limp. Now, how you respond to that is going to be a part of your identity as well, but you're going to have to respond. You're going to have to make decisions about the type of person you're going to be in the midst of that level of transformation, right? It can be an empowering change that happens in an instant. All of the sudden, you see somebody and they're struggling because they're getting pulled by the riptide in the water, and you run out and you swim and you get close enough and you pull them in and you save that person's life. In an instant, you become somebody's hero. In an instant, you've literally impacted a person's life and their legacy and their line. And all of a sudden, you're feeling like, wow, I did something that literally is impacting somebody's lineage. I literally saved somebody's life. Happened in an instant. Change. So we can actually become a brand new person right now. You can watch this and you can leave off of this information today, this morning, and boom, I am a completely different person because you are who you say you are until you prove otherwise. You're not a prisoner to your past. Remember, your past has to be your teacher, not your torture. So many of us are enslaved by our past. We're enslaved by previous mistakes and missteps and mishaps, and we live in that past and we relive that past over and over and over again. How many of you have ever made a decision and you regretted it? How many of you all have ever done something and you felt horrible that you did it? And you keep going back to that and you keep beating yourself up about it over and over and over and over again because you have become a prisoner to your past. How many people in your life look at you and they say, man, you used to be like this and you did this to me? And they keep reminding you of the mistakes that you made. They keep reminding you of who you were, and you've moved on from that. But now they're a prisoner to your past. They're a prisoner to something that you did, and you have actually changed your life, but they will not allow you to be free of that. It's like when someone is dealing with an addiction and they decide to move out of the circle of all of their other peers who are also addicted, and they say, you know what? I'm giving that up. And it could be anything. It could be drugs, alcohol, whatever. And they say, I'm giving that up. So I got to remove myself from the circle of influence that supports and endorses that type of behavior. And then they look at you and they're like, man, who do you think you are? You think you're better than me? You don't come around anymore. You don't love me. You don't care about me. What happened to you? And some people allow that past version of themselves to keep them prisoner. And they say stuff like, well, yeah, you're right. I do love you. I care about you. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm better. I had to have some space, but I don't want you to feel like I'm bailing on you either. And yeah, let's spend some time together. And then they inadvertently fall back into those poor habit patterns because they haven't cut the cord. So you can change, ladies and gentlemen, in an instant. There's a great movie. Well, it's not a great movie, but it's a great part of the movie. It's a great message. The movie's called Reign Over Me. Adam Sandler, Don Cheadle. And throughout the course of the movie, Don Cheadle's trying to bring Adam Sandler back to life because his family was killed in the 9/11. And so he's trying to, he's done. Like he's trying to get himself together. And Don Cheadle and him went to high school together. So Don Cheadle sees him. He's like, man, he's looking like, what happened to you? You were so full of life. And so throughout the movie, he's literally just trying to bring his friend back. And so Don Cheadle is a partner at I think it's a dental practice. And there's a scene where he's talking to Adam Sandler. He's like, I've been bringing in most of the business in this dental practice. Like I'm really the reason that this thing is thriving. And, my partners are, telling me I have to accept this and I got to do that. And, I just don't know, man. And Adam Sandler looks at him and he's like, what are you talking about? This is not the guy that I went to high school with. The guy that I went to high school with would never accept people pushing him around. You were never a pushover. Do you remember that time in high school when that kid was getting picked on and you stood up for that kid and you told that other guy to get out of his face and you really protected him? He's like, dude, you're the man. Like, what are you talking about? You're not going to allow people to bully you. You're so courageous. You're such a badass. What are you doing? And Don Cheadle's like, oh. He's like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And he literally leaves that conversation. He storms into the office of his partners and he says, listen, I'm the one that is leading this ship. I'm the one that brings in the majority of the business and I'm not doing any of that. Here's how things are going to go. And he lays down the law and they're looking at him like, oh, damn. And he slams the door and he walks out and they're like, yeah, I guess we got to kind of follow his lead. He's right. And so everything in his dental practice, it changed. Like everybody started treating him the way that he truly deserved to be treated because he took ownership of who he really was. And he goes back to Adam Sandler. He's like, man, you won't believe it. Like I went in there. He's like, you're right. Like I am the man. He's like, I did lay out the law. He's feeling all good about himself. And Adam Sandler's like, oh yeah, when I told you that story, I was actually thinking about somebody else that wasn't you. It didn't matter that it wasn't true. It was empowering. It didn't matter that it wasn't him. It was empowering and he believed it and then he acted on it. He changed his identity and he did it in an instant from one conversation. How many conversations? What's the type of conversation that you are having with yourself every day? Change can happen in an instant. And then your life can unfold accordingly immediately from that change. Ralph Waldo Emerson said one of the most difficult things is to have the courage to change and to be fully vested in that change. See, most people, they don't like it because they know other people are going to be like, wait a minute, didn't you just say that? Wait a minute, hold on. I thought you were about this. Wait a minute, you've been doing this your whole life. Now you're telling me you want to do this. People know they're going to get pushed back. And so they don't fully engage. They tiptoe. They dab a toe. They try to ease their way in. No. Make a decision and then make it right. Make a decision and then make it right. That is the power of our identity and making the change and then making the commitment to that person that you're going to be and then keeping your commitment to your commitment. So I just want to encourage you. Some of you all have been sitting on a very powerful identity. You've been sitting on something that is a lion that is waiting to be awakened within you. You are a powerful human being. You have so much to bring to the table. Stop selling yourself short. Start constructing an identity that can set you free. If you got some value out of this, please like and subscribe. go ahead and share this message, pass it on, because it is a blessing to be a blessing. Happy Winning Wednesday. Let's go out here and make it do what it do. Happy April, by the way. We're in the very beginning of Q2, the second quarter of 2026. Please take some accounting of your first quarter, where you hit your goals, where you smashed them, where you fell short, and make the proper adjustments so that you can have an even better second quarter, because champions adjust.